Hello and welcome back to Europa Universalis 4. I am Lord Forwind here playing as the somewhat in trouble Qing Empire. So we have been attacked by Japan, pretty much. That's the big thing. Japan has in fact, not Japan. Oh, yeah. Japan has joined a coalition. Russia has attacked us. And I'm a little bit worried about the growing coalition against us. Luckily, it seems to be relatively confined to people we've beaten in wars before. The problem is we are still in the middle of the court and country disaster, and now we're having to deal with a Russian invasion, or rather a Russian and British invasion, although I'm hoping that the actual British military does not show up. I'm also continuing to colonize a little bit. Hopefully that might distract the British. I've also sent my fleet to try and intercept any British units along my coastline, naval units if possible. Let's quickly do this. We have to get an army up there to stop the Russians before they reach my capital. Luckily, they're going to lose quite a few casualties just trying to siege down my outer areas. They've already lost 9,000, and that's all due to attrition. On the other hand, I've lost 9,000 as well. So, although I think to some degree that's me fighting the rebels. But aren't you up there? Okay. Of course, we can't stop accepting all the absolutism decisions just because we're at war. Otherwise, we're going to lose the court and country event again, and we don't want to do that. We want the court and country, if at all possible. Although I'd really like to wipe out the Cambodian separatists before they return and re-siege land. Looks like Aragon just triggered court and country as well, which is interesting. And we are also hopefully trying to persuade the Ottomans to intervene in the conflict between great powers. Although the odds of that are relatively low. I've had it happen a couple times. Aragon and France would be the next ones, but they're in a war right now. So maybe I could dispatch someone to be friends with France. Enemy of enemy. Let's examine the war. We are outnumbered 5-1, roughly. We are 60 points away from getting that. Right now, our only gain is our ticking war score because they haven't actually taken Beijing, which is going to take a while because I don't actually believe they have a cannon. Why is Sweden coming? Sweden's just an ally of, oh no, a vassal of Russia. Okay, Sweden's minor. Okay, Ottomans are actually in a war versus lots of people, versus Aragon. Okay. Let's send you to be friends with France. We'll pull you back. If we could get either the Ottomans or France to intervene in this, we should be able to win. We should be able to force out a white peace eventually. As long as Russia doesn't have tons and tons of cannon, should be good. They've got a lot of morale, but we've got a morale advisor for the moment. Are they building cannon? They are not building cannon, and they only have 104,000 manpower. So they outnumber me by 80,000 troops, but they do not have cannon or any cavalry. And my army up there is still hunting these guys, and we'll be hunting those guys for the next conceivable future. Because it's Siberia, and it takes forever to get anywhere. Let's get an idea going. Yes. Centralization. That should help. Not much, really. Maybe a little bit. It'll help in the future. Right now, it's not the biggest benefit. The British have arrived. Well, the British have arrived, and I have a feeling I should be able to squash their army here. See. Apparently not. What in the world? Oh, they've got relentless drill modifier on. No wonder. Relentless drill and superior tactics. Shoot. I'd have thought I'd have been able to win this fight, but I guess I was terribly, terribly wrong. Retreats there. We might be able to rinse and repeat them. Rinse and repeat trying to beat them. Don't have a lot of infantry there. You're still squashing rebels there. Great Britain has arrived there. What happened to my fleet? Are they still functioning? They seem to be at the moment. What will it take to peace out Great Britain? A little bit less. Great Britain doesn't have nearly enough manpower. They have a lot more mercenaries though. 94,000 mercenaries. Okay. Our defense is slightly solidifying though. Let's try fighting the Russians here. At least let's not give up the fort without a fight. Hopefully this other Russian army here doesn't arrive in time. But they don't have... Oh, they took the fort. Great. They don't have cannon and they don't have cavalry. So, yes, I can beat them. No, I can't do it right now because they have superior discipline at the moment. Joy. Okay. We'll pull you to join there. We'll pull you south. You're still there. Oh, bother. This is not good. Not good at all. At least I'm preventing landings in mainland China at the moment. Where's my hunting army? Hunting army has dealt with those guys. In terms of rebels, the rebels have been squashed. Good. In terms of casualties, it's almost even, which isn't good. Russia's below me in casualties, though. Manpower, though. As long as I can hold Beijing, and if this fort finishes, I have to hold that till next January. I have to take the hit there of taxes. You're there. I don't know what Great Britain did. Maybe they tried to assault the fort. Another colony done. We'll just keep colonizing, I guess. Tributary states. Yeah, manpower's good, manpower's good, manpower's good, manpower, or gold is good. Buryatia is fine, doing whatever they're doing. Right now is nothing, but... Okay. If we pull this army down towards here, we remerge and reinforce those. This army might actually be able to beat the British given time and effort. Again, we're going to go into further debt, which sucks. Raise the levies now, because we're going to eventually lose them all. Might as well do it when we don't lose tons of favors in the process, or loyalty in the process. That army has met. Bind. Pull those two together. Come on. Lost the siege of Angkor, of course we have. Okay, is there a hills province? There are quite a few hills, so maybe if we station our troops in such a position the British have to attack us, might have a shot. Just double checking, doesn't seem to be any Japanese separatists. Good. Military power, still got quite a ways to go. 78,000 there though, they're losing troops rapidly. 58,000. They've lost more to attrition than actual combat. War score is mostly even due to Beijing not falling. That just has to last till January. Then Beijing should be really tough to take. And I should be able to either deal with the British or at least reoccupy that area. Japan, I'm going to have to kind of abandon to the British for the moment. I can't fight the British fleet. I don't know, but we're going to try this fight. We outnumber them, and that's about it. That is a little annoying that we have more rebels. Relatively low amount of rebels, though. Okay, we're going to win this fight. Good. Russians have been driven back for the moment. So let's move to occupy the fort again. Beijing should be finished in like 12 days, so that's not a problem. We'll leave our troops there to hold against the British. Really wish I had more discipline, but I can't get discipline because I need the morale. Just go even with them. Unless I can get a cheaper... Nope, I don't even have a morale advisor. Let's fire you then. Okay, that's stable, that's stable. Keep raising war taxes, obviously. What is Russia looking at in terms of manpower? 45. Britain's looking at only 11,000, but they have mercenaries. At least they're not in mainland China. Although in some ways having them in mainland China would be good, because then I don't have to march as far between fights. So, we've got a fort. Let's barrage the fort to hopefully retake it quickly. Particulars, rebels, great. Rebels. We don't have a lot of cannon. If I move you in, that would fall faster. The British have in fact retreated for the moment. Let's occupy what land we can. Still, of course, falling into debt, but that's to be expected. The British seem like they're going to move that way, so let's move to block them. Where is my anti-rebel army going? They have stopped moving. Okay, well, we can win this fight against Britain for sure. 28% chance of taking that fort. That's fortified. Wouldn't really mind spending money on both of those. There we go. I guess this is supposed to be the Great Wall, those 3 forts in a row. Okay. When does this courting country disaster end? I want to know. I really want to know. Okay. We've won that fight. It wasn't that hard. Now they're attacking us. One of their divisions is at least. We're not going to accept that. Too bad this isn't a terrain bonus to this province, otherwise it would be wonderful. Let's withdraw that. We should win this fight though, because the Russians are massively out of position. Although that army is recovering. Okay. Let's pull our troops back. We don't want to risk them getting stack wiped or anything. The British just ran right around my army. How annoying. I can't fight the British army, so I gotta just reoccupy. Okay, that army won, so let's pull them south. Specifically to squash those rebels. What are we looking at in terms of war stuff? 41, so we've managed to knock off 19 out of that. Okay. Reduce war exhaustion for the moment. Doesn't seem to be any Japanese rebels other than particularists, and of course the English. or technically the British now, causing trouble. We've got a long ways to go to actually get that fort, or the next tech level. They're marching north, interestingly enough. These guys are marching to there, so let's pull you guys actually this way. We've lost that siege. Yeah, we're gonna lose a lot of sieges to Britain. Unless I can somehow peace out Great Britain from the war, we're gonna lose a lot of troops to them. Well, as the length of war goes down and their war exhaustion goes up, we might have a shot. They are not coming southwards. The problem is the British have cannons, so they can occupy territory rather quickly. What are you gonna do? Actually, what are the Russians at? Russians are almost out of manpower, but they do have a cavalry unit now. They're gonna really stick over 100,000 troops to take that one province. Yeesh. Kind of impressed. Except for the fact that I'm gonna have to attack them. And boy, is this lagging all of a sudden. Let's launch the attack. We're gonna lose, obviously, but the damage we inflict should be useful. Unless somehow they've managed to lose a Spiritus of Corpse, which would also be wonderful. Oh, we actually might win this. I say that now, we'll probably lose now that I said it. Yep. We're not going to win this then. We won! Haha! Apparently if I say we're going to win, we lose. If I say we're not going to win, we win. Apparently we also just smashed another Russian army on the way south. So, Russia is severely weakened. Britain is not. This army is probably in a little bit of trouble. And we're going to go into debt again. Okay, let's move our troops. We got to defend Beijing here. Or I could send both my armies south and try and kick out the English. Probably not a good idea. Luckily, if we retake Angkor here, it should occupy. It will reoccupy those two provinces. Okay. France kind of likes me, but not enough to join any wars I'm involved with. The Ottomans are actually losing that war. And let's see what Russia thinks of peace. Okay, we're making progress. War score, we're making gains. Relative strength of alliances is the issue. Luckily, the colonial nations are useless. This is the issue, this occupation. But I think so long as we hold China, we're reasonably good. Plus, we always have Buryatia, who I should order to just siege. Enemy force while boarding borders. I'll order that. I don't think it'll change much about their behavior, though. Should also finish off those rebels there while that army rebuilds. Yeesh, we're losing lots of troops. Ladakha separatists apparently a thing now. Colonial range guy in there. That fort has fallen. Okay, let's march north again. Okay, and then what are we looking at? Okay, we're now winning the war due to the ticking war score. Still not enough to force them out, obviously. I'm just keeping an eye on this because as soon as there's a chance for peace, I'm going to go for it. We're 30 OI. Unless all of a sudden I start being able to smash their armies, the less I fight them, the better. Sweden has arrived with 4 troops. I really want to finish off Great Britain, but they're not the major issue. They are the major issue somehow, despite Russia being a thing. That is actually rather good on my part. Rebellion deep behind Russian lines. They're going to have to move troops to deal with it if they want to occupy that land. We'll do that. March you over there, march you to there, separate you, separate you, separate you. Okay, that fort is being sieged. I think Britain is coming to fight me. Yeah, they are. We're now in a hill province, so that's going to help a bit. Oh, we actually lost the siege over there. High naval attrition. Oh. Hey, we just smashed a 32 British transportation fleet. Awesome. Couldn't ask for better. Although I really could use you if you go back to port to repair. 32 British transport fleet. That is that evens up the war score a little bit. We've got to stop the Russians from taking this region. This army up here is fairly useless right now. What does Britain think of this all? Britain is still happy, but we're winning the war now, somehow. Actually, what we want is a single Russian province. One Russian province. Although Britain's going to have to deal with lots of rebels there. Court and country still hasn't fired, which is frustrating. Anyhow, cavalry just got useful again, for now. Let's not lose my army in the meantime. I'm going to lose my army in the meantime, aren't I? Or not. I'm going to win this one. Awesome. That was actually a rather big win on my part. Russia's enthusiasm is severely weakened after that. It hasn't calculated yet. We gotta go to the next month. Now, what does Russia think of this? $18 more. Okay. Russia has started to raise mercenaries, is out of manpower. Great Britain, of course, has still got manpower due to mercenaries. Move up towards the siege there. We're going to have to send a force over to stop the Russians from taking that. I have no idea where those guys are fleeing to, nor do I really want to. They're probably running away to some very obscure province. We lost another siege in Japan. Great. Retaking Japan is going to take a little while. Somehow we still haven't run out of manpower, though. The Russians are having to divert troops to deal with those rebels like I thought they would. Give them what they want. I'm fine with that. We don't even have forced march or anything. The Russians are, in fact, ahead of us in military tech, which is also annoying. They are going that way. Okay, so let's move south. If we can combine these troops, we should be able to beat the Russians in another fight. They are almost willing to talk peace. Okay. I have a fort up there. I have a level 6 fort up there. When did I build that? Huh. Well, we have now a line of level 6 forts there. Great Britain is pretty much just isolating them by not fighting them. Coffee plant is a thing. Move to there. Don't really know what Buryat is up to at the moment. Probably just running around in circles, keeping Russia occupied. Which is fine, I guess. Lost the siege, of course we did. Really need to strengthen that fort. If there's any Russian fort that Chinese fort that seems to constantly be under siege, it seems to be that one. Rather weird. Okay, we'll march you to there. Yes, and then we'll march you to there, and that should be enough to win that fight. Altogether. It is. Okay. Another defeat of Russia. March those north. That fort still is yet to be occupied. That one is under siege. What does Russia think of the whole mess now? Their high war enthusiasm. Okay. 20 though. Revolts in Russia. That would be those guys. We're about to get squashed. More particularists. When does this disaster end? Oy, 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 oy. Luckily, China is not the particularists in Japan are preventing England from just walking all over it. I think once I smash that army, I'm going to try and combine those two to go attack England. Land maintenance, that should help a fair amount. We're losing 72 gold a month. Ugh. How many mercenaries do we have? I'm kind of curious. 31 regiments of mercenaries. That would be why we're losing money. It would also be why we're winning the war, too. Okay, that was a gain. A rather good gain, actually. Forcing Russia closer and closer to the negotiating table. 11 now. Okay, well, that will be it for this episode. Next episode, I think we're going to go try and finish off the 47,000 British stack, which right now has been uncontested in their conquest of most of China, or southern China. And Russia's having to deal with quite a few separatist rebels, which is rather amusing. And hopefully none of them are going to gain independence. And then we shall win this war, and I think I'm just going to take this province here. Get north. Actually, no, I need 20 development, don't I? Shoot. I could always develop it myself. I might have to take a lot of Russia's land here. We'll see. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Bye for now.